Well, here we are at the vault, and I'm bringing you here. This is a vault that is outside of Phoenix, but I have this famous saying, and this is Rod. Rod, would you explain your position here at the vault? We'll start there.
Yes, I'm the general manager here. We're not a big operation. We have two people here, myself and TJ, and we're the ones that run this on a daily basis.
Awesome. We're going to talk about security in a minute, but I want to go one place immediately, which is if you don't hold it, you don't own it because of all of the legalese. Everything else is a contract. And so if people store their gold here, right, how do they own it and maintain control over it?
Okay, well, we have two types of customers. We have those who come in themselves and manage their own box with their own access with their own key. And then we have over 300 accounts that we manage from all over the world, where we receive product on their behalf or ship out product on their behalf, where we manage the box itself.
Okay, so, but they still have legal ownership.
Absolutely, 100%. Anything that and those administrative accounts, anything that comes in on their behalf, pictures are taken of it, both through documentation.
It's all done under camera though too, isn't it? When
Yes.
you open up the packages.
Correct.
And when you seal them and all of that?
Well, the customer doesn't really have to be concerned about a product coming. Well, for instance, if you sent something to me, if there's been an issue, which has never been with you,
Right.
but if there were, we would immediately call you and say, hey, the wrong coin is here, it was misshipped or whatever, and you've been very good about correcting that. We've never had an issue, but it's all done under camera, so everything is documented.
Yeah, that's great. And I should tell you that from the store that I originally found you at, this was like 38 years ago. It was right when I very first moved to Phoenix because I was at Shearson down in Tempe, and your original store and the original vault was also in Tempe. So you guys should know that I've known these guys for like 38 years. And that gives me a very high level of comfort in working with you. And like you mentioned earlier, we do have clients from all different parts of the world that store their gold here, particularly the collectible coins.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about security, because you said there's two people that are working here, although when I was wandering around, you have lots of people in there. But can you speak to the security?
With limitations.
With limitations, yeah.
Right. The thing about working here and also being connected to the jewelry store, it's owned by the Gannon family, is that there are a number of gentlemen that are carrying protection here, so that if we ever had an issue, there's that. There's certain things put in place within the facility that if I were having an issue at any time, I would very easily have access to that, where the proper people would be notified. As far as security, once we're not here, we don't have a 24-hour guard that, for instance, that stays here, but we have both security systems within the store itself.
Layers, probably.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
Layers.
And then let alone trying to get into this place, because they literally have seconds when they even just get into the store. So in none of our store, we don't keep anything out. Everything is under another vault at our facility is put away. So there's not even that, and they literally have seconds before the alarm would be going off. So and as far as the vault itself is concerned, it's one of the questions we get asked all the time.
I would imagine.
I'm not the best at this, but there's UL ratings and all this. This is top graded level, and so to the point where there's sensors in the ceiling just from vibration, that if someone were to try to get into this facility through jackhammer or whatever, alarms would go off. Moth, if you got a moth inside here, it would set alarms off, just the movement. So the sensitivity is that extreme. So when we're protecting people's life savings in some cases, we take it quite seriously. So.
And you are. And so I've known about you guys for 38 years. How long have you been around?
Me, myself?
Well, no,
for
the Ganem Jewelers and the Vault and all,
Ganem, I think Ganem started in 1982 by Mr. George Ganem. gentleman's about my age, and his two sons, Curtis. One of his sons, Curtis, who you met, runs this facility, and so I was blessed to have started working here about 8 years ago at the old location, and it's grown and grown and grown thanks to people like yourself.
Well, you know, you need a safe, secure place, because even though I definitely do believe that you need to, your barterable part, your emergency part of your portfolio, that needs to be by you, because you might need it in a moment's notice. But if we're executing the growth and the other part of the portfolio, you don't necessarily have to hold that. And in fact, if you're fully executing the strategy, timing on that could be a little challenging. So it would actually be a lot more convenient, to be honest with you, if we're executing a strategy for us to be able to do it. And I like the ownership piece. I think that is absolutely critical, because a lot of people think, oh, I've got an ETF, I own something. No, you have a piece of paper, you have a share in a trust. You don't own anything. So it's good to know legally that yeah.
Right, we take, and on those accounts that we administrate to, the 300 of them, we take a very detailed inventory of everything that's in that box, that both myself and the customer get a copy of. And then any transactions that take place over a period of time is all kept in place in a portfolio in each of those people's boxes. So there's a record of what's going on. And even to the point where if a customer comes in unexpectedly, which is fine, and said, I'm such and such, with ID, we go in, I open the box with them, and I don't give them access to the box. With them, we go through the entire contents of the box to make sure that they can see that everything that should be there is there, right down to the last coin. Then, if they choose to be alone with their product, that's fine, but I explained to them that we're going to have to re-inventory it again, because inadvertently they could say, I'm going back to Australia, or I'm going here, I'm going to grab a couple, 1894 St. Gaudens, and forget to tell me, and then next thing you know, the next time we do an inventory, what happened? So I'm very, very particular to a point where, because I have to be. You have to be,
and I think that is really good. But now you operate as a third party, so I'm going to see some of these questions just to make sure I get them asked. Clients work directly with you to establish the storage, but walk us through that process. I mean, how would somebody that's, let's say, in Australia or England or anywhere else that wants to store their gold here, what does that process look like?
Well, I would say that most of our contacts come from people like yourself, who people are looking to your expertise and following you and your direction of where you think they should go with their investments and stuff and certain things. So they've built a trust in you. So it's what's always great is if you have someone like us that you can recommend to them, because they're looking for a safe place that you're recommending that's accountable. And in that process, it's a pretty simple one. We either get through phone calls or through emails. We make a connection with those people. I have an in-depth conversation with them, understanding how we operate and how we do things. Answering it, there's no stupid questions, I say, because we're talking about people's life savings. I said the great convenience about this is that you and I were only, a half hour away from each other. So if there is a liquidation necessary or whatever it may be, it's something that can be done quickly.
Just like that.
And so sometimes, customers forget about situations where all of a sudden they need funds or something.
Right.
And so the quicker we can expedite things for them, that's what we try to do. I tend to be old school. Try to, the customer comes first.
We're like that too. So it's good that you're like that.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's why in this case we connect, because you guys do things a certain way, we do things a certain way, and it's very easy for me to recommend someone like you, and hopefully the same way. So basically, once the connection's made with you and they're looking for a facility potentially to store their product with, it's very simple. Either through email or through phone conversation, we have a conversation. The client can then make a commitment to me over the phone. They send me certain criteria, certain basic information to set their account up, and then product is sent here on my behalf, and that whole procedure of photos and stuff verifying that we've received everything is done and complete.
I love that. That's, well, who typically chooses like vault storage instead of keeping it at home? Do you have a typical client?
I think things have changed a little bit, as you know, over the last, since I've been here about 9 years now. And I think with the changing things of the world and all the uncertainties and all that, I mean, to sort of answer that question with a couple examples, I've had clients call here that were under a great deal of distress, worrying about what's going on in the environment and what's going on in the world. And they'll say things like, well, I want you to send the product to me. I can tell by the inflection in their voice sometimes that I don't like people making decisions when they're in a fearful position.
Right.
Maybe just calm them down a little bit to make sure. And most importantly, what I'll say is, do you have a safe place to put this? And they will say to me, well, I'm going to put it in my home. And then I'll make a comment like, well, if you're that worried about the world, they're going to be coming after your macaroni, let alone your gold. So a lot of times they'll take a minute, take a breath, and realize that having it at a facility like this is the safest place they ever could have it, even if things were to get difficult. Because, more importantly, I said, what would you do with it if you had it?
Going to store it.
You're going to have to
That's what
store
you're
it,
gonna do.
or if you're going to have to liquidate it, now you're going to have to start processing and trying to mail it back and all that. Where when it's here and our proximity to one another, it makes it so much an easier transition. You don't have to worry about anything. It's safe, and when you need it, it'll be there for you.
Well, it's actually why I wanted to come down and do this with you today, because we are getting, obviously more and more clients, and we're actually executing a strategy. And so to think about the timing of everything, then it's much easier if we're counting on our timing, because what if the client can't get to mail it out in time or what have you? We'll have to make some accountability for that. But this would make it it would make it easier to fully execute the strategy, because it eliminates a possible bottleneck, is what it does.
Right.
Which is a really good thing, especially when you've got a reasonably tight time frame. So I love that. But let's see, what information does a client need to provide in order to open a vault?
Pretty basic, fundamental stuff. For instance, let's say a husband and wife wants to open a box. So many times people will come in, whether it's just themselves to walk in or as an administrative account, and they think that's efficient, along with emails and address. Today we have addresses only if they want product shipped to them personally, but email pretty much and phone number. But the one thing that we've always insisted on, the thing I learned quite quickly here, was this: husband and wife travel together, things can happen, unfortunately. So we always insist upon having a third person on there, whether it's an attorney, one of their siblings, somebody that they can count on to fulfill their wishes if both of them passed. We don't want their stuff. We don't want their stuff.
Right. Wow, that's interesting. You know what? I hadn't even really thought about that. So I'm glad that you have, because that is really important. I know that my daughters know where my stuff is, and that's it. Unfortunately, I have two, so I can do that with them.
I won't open a box to anybody that won't give me that, because I just feel it's a responsibility to make sure that they've worked long and hard for this. We want to make sure that it does. Say no one can get a hold of us over a certain period of time, then we have to submit this to the state, and then all kinds of
we don't want to do that.
So,
we want to avoid the state.
Yeah, and so there's times also, it's
possible.
interesting, I could write a book on this, but it's interesting how somebody will list 3 siblings, right? As any one of the 3 can come in after they pass.
Right.
And I could walk even through that. Let's just say it was one individual, and something happened to that person. Well, and then they've listed their 3 siblings. Well, any one of them could come in. Hopefully they have the key. They need a death certificate, and they need ID. So I've had experiences where Billy Bob comes in, he's got the death certificate and the key, he closes the box out. 2 weeks later, his other brother and sister come in and say, we're here, and they go, oh no. So I'm even very particular about, without being overstepping my grounds with people to make sure that the siblings, are they getting along with one another? Because they don't think of these things.
Yeah. But there are a lot of families, especially after the matriarch or the patriarch pass, and the family just disintegrates. And a lot of it is around inheritance, so that's really good.
Right.
So how do you avoid that then? By having...
Well, a lot of times it'll be like, is there one in particular you know that you could put, you're not picking a favorite, but
right.
you know that you could count on. Or
right.
you could put where, if you don't have that, you could put it where two of them have to come in together. So you sort of give them some options. I said, it's their box to decide what they want, who's to get in it, who has access to it, and even after they're gone, how it's managed. So I just give suggestions as I've seen issues come up over the 8 years that I've been here to try to help them walk through that.
Well, what do you think is the single most important thing that people should be thinking about if they're considering opening up a vault box?
Well, I'm a big believer in life that you want to surround yourself with people that you can trust.
Yeah, I agree.
Trust is huge. Everybody can give you some verbiage. Everybody can say they're in. You want to win the battle, or you want to win the war. I'm a big believer, because I was in a different type business before I owned my own company, and I dealt with my clients on a twice a week basis, and you became part of them, right? So again, we talked about being old school, but I generally care whether it's the smallest box we have in here or the largest. It's all perceptually the same. And so I care as much about their product as they do. And I know that someone like yourself, who tries to educate them on direction and what to do with their money and their investments and stuff in these crazy times, they're putting a tremendous trust in you.
Right.
Tremendous trust, because I hear it from them. They call me. So when I hear that from them, I become sort of like part family to a certain degree too. It's interesting how you become, people open up to you and they really, well, what do you think you should do? What do you think I should do with this and that? I'm not a financial advisor, you know what I'm saying? So I'm more like their grandfather or whatever that's been in this business long enough so they get a little inclination as to what's going on. So I think they think that with us that they can trust us, and they know that this isn't a very safe place, and we cross our T's and dot our I's. And I think what's also very important is to say that the Gannon family that own jewelry stores and own this and a number of other businesses, we're a very solid company. You could research us on. I think that's one of the most common questions. Well, it's an independent vault. What, they get a little bit.
Which is really, actually, I prefer that, because I'm a locavore, right? And the buck stops here. The problem that a lot of people experience, and you and I are of an age, we'll remember a time when most of it was mom and pop. And so if you had a problem, or there was something that you needed, or maybe it was a little different, you were talking to the decision maker. And that decision maker wants you to be happy. Today, everything is big corporate. And so when you have a problem, it's basically too bad, so sad. You're not getting through the decision maker. In fact, people are put in your way of getting to any kind of reasonable resolution, and that's their job. So I love the fact, I truly do, like us, we are mom and pop, and we actually care about the client and want to make sure that the clients are properly taken care of, well taken care of, and happy with everything. So if there's a problem, so I love the fact that you are independent. It makes me, frankly, a whole lot more comfortable.
That's good. I agree with you.
Absolutely. So what do you think that people, what do you think that they should know? Like things that I wouldn't even think to ask you, but yet from your background and your experience, that when people are thinking about vaulting their gold and their silver or anything else, because you can put any valuable papers, anything that you need to store in the vault, it's not just gold and silver, but what are the things that I'm not thinking about?
Well, I think most importantly, when I got approached to take on this job eight and a half years ago, I didn't really know anything about a vault, and I didn't know anything about, well, why don't people put vaults in their homes, or what do they call those things, vaults type permit thing. So I went online and I saw I saw vaults that were 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide, huge things that no one would ever be able to move, and watch somebody get into them within 8 minutes. So I began to realize to say, okay, well, if you've got important papers, you know, whether it's titles or abstracts or different things for homes and different things, you know, what's important. But when you're talking in today's day and age with jewelry and with more and more, I think, even though I don't know what the percentages, you could probably educate me on this, but the percentage of people that invest in gold and silver is still very minute. But we're slowly making some progress there. People are looking for different safe havens. But I would never, ever, ever store anything in my home. It's not worth it. I mean, we have boxes as low as $150 a year that you can put a lot of money in as far as gold is. And so peace of mind, what is $150 a year today?
Right.
In a very, very secure facility such as this. So, I mean, and the fact that you have it in your home, you're not only taking a risk, but what are you going to do with it? I mean, you're still going to have to go through the same process that we can help you with. So I just think it's like anything in life, I think. I don't try to sell people on things, but I'm saying for what little bit it costs, and I think our prices are extremely competitive. I mean, I will have people call and say, you know, what is your price? And they'll say, is that per month? You know, and I go, I wish, because we get calls from all over, you know. And so I just think that more and more people are starting to look at things differently again, as this, all the changes that have taken place in the world. And I also think we're private.
I love that you just said that.
We're not regulated by the bank or the government and different things, and so people can fly under the radar here a lot less than what a bank is. I mean, I'm not here to put banks down, but you walk into a bank today and ask them for money, what are you spending it on? You look at them like, what are you talking about? You know, it's my money, just, you know.
Well, that's your perception. Actually, once you make that deposit, it isn't your money anymore. You have loaned that money to the bank.
I remember listening to you say that. That's so true.
It is.
So I think people are more and more looking at the fact, obviously, because in the 8 years that I've been here, we have nothing but grown and grown and grown. And this is a new facility. We closed our old facility for a number of reasons, but not that it was unsafe or anything like that, but we have potentially grown and grown and grown. And you know, the owners here, before you invest in a brand new facility, which is not cheap today, you have to build it to a certain level, and we've well exceeded that. So, and now that we've moved over here, the amount of growth that we've had has been astronomical, just astronomical. So it was a very smart move, smart move.
That's excellent. And I wanted to talk about the cost and how much you can hold in there. So your very smallest box, that's what, 150 a year?
Yes.
How many collectible coins do you think you can get in that box?
I would say they're encased. So I would say probably pretty close to maybe 50. So, you know, and whether that casing is a $5 piece or a $20 gold piece is depending upon, right? So if they were all $20 gold pieces.
Well, it depends, because I mean, you can get 1 ounce of gold and at a current market of $15 million. So you can actually hold quite a bit of wealth in one coin, let alone 50 coins.
Correct.
You know, so, but as I'm looking at them and looking at the size, you definitely could not get a monster box of silver in there.
Well,
so you'd have to do something more like, I don't know, I don't think it would fit in there either. I think
actually,
it'd fit more
right
like
here,
that.
right here. I did one the other day. This is 5 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and all these boxes are 24 inches deep. It slid right in there.
There you go.
American Eagles, 1 ounce silver Eagles, slid right in there. And there was still room, another 6-7 inches in the front to add additional product if you wanted to.
That's pretty good.
And in today's day and age, when we're talking say $45,000, $50,000 in that range now for a monster box.
Is it? Oh my gosh, it's been, see, I don't do that piece, so I don't really, but yeah, that would make sense. I think, because I have a number of monster boxes, I haven't bought any more monster boxes in a long time because I have enough. That's my barterable position. I want to say that the last time I bought one, maybe it cost me like 15,000 or 17,000 or something like
an
that.
ounce is 15 grand. So
Yeah, it was something like that.
3 times that. So.
Well, it is. But is that the silver going up or the dollar going down?
Well, we know the dollar's going down. So
Yeah, we do.
Right. But back to your point about the numismatic coins, the collectible coins, you know, you've got coins there. I would think that are $8,000-9,000 for a $20 gold piece.
Yeah,
so
just depends.
You could put a lot of value in one of those small boxes. Now we can accommodate just about anything. We have boxes that are as big as 24 inches and 48 inches long and 24 inches deep. You mentioned silver. So silver's a big, takes up a lot of space.
That's the biggest challenge. I mean, you've got to have both. You have to have gold and you have to have silver because they perform different functions.
Right.
But the biggest challenge I see with silver is how bulky it is.
Absolutely. Takes up space.
Are there any handling or transaction fees? Let's talk about a little bit more about fees that you need to be aware of, that clients need to be aware of when they either set up the box and you're taking in the facility or you're taking in the gold because you're doing work for it, and also the auditing and all of that. Are there any additional fees other than rental?
The only additional fee would be in an administrative box, which we're the ones that are managing it. And normally that is a one-time $200 administrative fee, and they pay it once and that's it.
Wow.
So even if they were with us for 10 years and product is coming and going, they do have the expense. So for instance, if a client 3 years later wanted to liquidate something to you, per se, either us mailing it to you or getting it there, there might be the expense of insuring it and that. But other than administratively, there's no other expense after that. We manage that for them. One of the things that we have looked at, we have different tiers. I don't have them specifically in my head, but for instance, it's not fair, for instance, to say someone that were to put a number of numismatics in here versus, this, you're managing a huge, much more bigger portfolio, so there's a lot more involved. I mean, when I receive 1,000 coins at one time,
that takes you a minute.
It takes just a few minutes because, again, you have to be so particular because you're the last check before those get locked away. And so does it say an S or a D?
Right, yes.
Or is it an MS65 versus a 64? So all those little things can make a huge difference, and we don't want to have to.
They can.
We don't want to have to look at them 2 years later.
Right.
So we're very careful that way, and it takes time.
Is there anything else that you would like to impart to our viewers that you feel that they should know when looking at vaulting services?
Well, I've been doing it for 8 years. I used to run my own company, which is a whole different entity, but it's been a great experience for us. I think that anybody that doesn't have a vault should have one. I'm not trying to say that as far as just to promote us. Even if you're not an investor in gold and silver, you can still, if you're a traveler, and we have people that love jewelry, and so, they're going away to Washington for 2 weeks. Well, they're not taking all their jewelry.
Right.
So if you've got a box over here for $150 a year that you can put all your belongings in, while you're away for peace of mind, that's well worth it. But on another note, a little bit above the vault type thing, one of the experiences that I had, I never owned an ounce of gold or silver in my life. Never, for 8 years. I moved here from New York, had other investments, never had anything. But getting to know my clients that have come in here and getting to know people like yourself and listening, you begin to say, hey, we're not saying take your life savings and put it here or whatever, but take part of it. It's part of the diversification. And I've learned very quickly that I should have done it a long time ago.
Yep.
I should have done it a long time ago. And I think what you're doing and other companies are doing to help promote educating people about
education is everything.
And I have clients that are mid-90s, and I have clients that are in their 20s that are, so that huge expanse to see the people that are realizing that that's a very important investment. And so that's good for us because we offer a service for them. They value what we bring to the table, and we value what you bring to us and all the customers you've brought to us. So I appreciate it very much.
Well, it's my pleasure because I am on this planet to be of service and to have a positive impact on a lot of people. That's always the way I heard it in my head. So that's always the way that it comes out. But I think it's part of also building a community, right? You're part of the community. You're somebody that we know we can trust and count on because you've proven it over and over and over, and over a long period of time as well. So I think that is critically important. And I like that you're attached to a jewelry store because gold and silver in any form is monetary at its base. So there are different ways to be diversified. It just kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, everybody knows I like my jewelry.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah, it's fun walking around and seeing the beautiful pieces. So there are different ways that you can accumulate, but absolutely, if you're executing the strategy, it makes a whole lot of sense to take the growth part of your collectible portfolio and keep it here. It just makes it easier to execute, and you got to hold it somewhere anyway. So as long as it is in their name, so they own it, because that's the problem with Wall Street. And that's the problem with the way the system is set up. Your perception, like going into the bank and saying, but wait a minute, it's my money. No, legally, it is not your money. It is merely your perception that it's your money. And when push comes to shove, like we've seen over and over again, 2008, nobody went to jail because it's all contracts and they're the ones that write the contracts. And nobody else reads the contracts. So what you do is real, and I appreciate that a lot because that's where we have to go right now.
And I wanted to say this to you too. Yeah. I would say 60-70% of the people that are in here, I have no idea what they have in their box. It's very private. Right. It's very private. They come in, we unlock the box. They're taken into one of our facilities where they can go in and they have total privacy. They seal the box back up, it gets put back in. So it's none of my business to know what's in their box. The only people that I know of is ones that have agreed to that administrative fee. But other than that, and people can come in here and say, hey, there's such and such. We don't share any information with anybody about who's here and who's not here.
Privacy is really important.
Absolutely. That's a big priority. People don't want government. They don't want people knowing their business.
Yep.
And it's not that they're trying to do anything illegitimately or anything like that. They just stay out of my stuff. Right. Well, we're also in an age where we like our privacy. We're used to our privacy. And people have over time been taught to give it up so easily. The kids that are coming up, they've not grown up having privacy. But to your earlier point, we are seeing a shift in people of all ages. That's what's exciting to me. This last week, I'll tell you, it's just a little personal story, but in my neighborhood, I have an urban farm, so you'll have to come over. You'll come over and you'll see it. But there's always kids that come through the property because it's set up like that to be magical and what have you. And so these kids came by, usually, I just watch them on my Ring camera. I don't really say anything, but every once in a while I will. And so last week I decided there were 4 little ones that were out there, and I said, oh, come here. And I showed them the pond. They could feed the fish. They could feed the chickens. And I gave them a lesson on what is money. So I actually brought them into my studio, and I do keep some gold and silver coins there because I use them when I'm filming. And we did that little lesson on what is money? And they were amazed. And then I brought some, I'll make sure. Have you seen our dime cards yet? I saw quarter cards. Well, that's what we did first. And then since we want to hand them out like candy, the quarters just are a little too expensive for that. So we went down to the dimes. I'll give you a dime card. But I gave them all dime cards to take home because I realized that when we're talking to people about sound money, they don't even know what that is.
But sound money is money that is above all governments and central banks' ability to inflate away. It is the only form of money that is not man-made. And that's physical gold and physical silver. And again, I don't care what the form is, right? In any form, it's monetary at its base. But how can I ask somebody to believe in sound money if they've never even held it in their hand as money? So that's why we came up with the quarter cards. It was my weight trainer.
Wow.
We were having a conversation, and he is an attorney turned gym rat. So he's a bright guy, and his undergrad, he's mid-40s. His undergraduate degree is in history. So we've had lots of interesting conversations over the years, and I don't even know how we started talking about sound money, and I made the mention that silver was actually our coinage. And he was like, it was? And I was so surprised that he did not know that. And that's what kind of like my aha moment. Okay, we got to do something about that. So we give out sound money so people can actually see what it is and understand its value. And people know, because I wear jewelry all the time, I have this beautiful Italian 18 karat necklace that I bought shortly after I moved here. So probably would have been at like maybe 87, 88. And at that time, I paid $350 for it. And the most recent appraisal that I got on it, I think was like $6,500 or $7,000. Is that necklace going up? No, it's the same necklace that I've worn for 30, 40 years and will continue to wear because it's gorgeous and I love it. It's the same necklace. It's not the gold going up. It's the value of the dollar going down that makes it look like things are going up. It's how they fool you, right? But this is one reason why I definitely love jewelry. And I was saying earlier, started my daughters when they were 12 with gold jewelry because when they went away to college or they were not near me, I always wanted them to have money. And I could do that with jewelry.
Absolutely. I wanted to point out to you too, I think went back to this administrative thing, I sort of forgot about this.
Yeah.
You know, we manage different types of boxes for different people. So some numismatic stuff, some, I guess, what do you call it, general bullion or whatever. I have a gentleman in Bulgaria that yesterday, 2 days ago, I want to sell a couple eagles. Boom, took care of it, wired the money to the American bank account. He transferred it to his, in Bulgaria. He doesn't have to be here.
Nice.
Where if he had taken all that product with him to Bulgaria, he was going to lose 40% bringing it into the country.
Yep, customs. That's why we don't.
And he knew he would never get it out again.
Right.
So just having that, knowing that he's got his stuff here, it's in a good place, and he can liquidate it, no matter what it is, to people like yourself or whatever, it's a good feeling because they don't have to worry about it, and they're saving all that money, and it's a lot safer here than it would be.
Frankly, it is.
Elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and you have clients, I'm sure, from all over the country.
We do.
And whether they store it where they are or that they have it close by. So again, it's the being able to expedite something quickly for them. That it's a great service for people. It's a safe place. It can be expedited. They know that you're going to give them the best price, and it's all taken care of. They have confidence. So
there you go. And everything is about confidence, but in the physical world, it doesn't need the same kind of confidence as it does in the digital world or in the intangible world. That's all confidence. And I think we can look at what's happening in the markets right now, and there is really a loss of confidence. So I'm glad that you brought that up because that's a really good point.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this is just one little piece. But it's an important piece to this puzzle because it makes your life easier and it makes it easier to execute the strategy. So I hope you got a lot out of this because I enjoyed it, and this is a great facility. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.